can see clearly now, the rain has gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. And it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain has gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain has gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. And it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. And it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. And it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. And it's gonna be a bright, oh, bright, sunshiny day. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jason Goldstein. And happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you.
It is a bright, sunshiny day, albeit a little bit chilly, but it is. And so you're bringing even greater light and brightness and sunshine to the environment. Thank you for being here, Mr. Jason Goldstein.
Thank you. See you guys soon.
See you in a bit. Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox. I'm the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. I say morning because in the time zone of the geography by which I sit in my office, zooming with you, it is indeed morning. It's 10:32 a.m. Pacific time, and it is the right time for all of us to come together and honor the power, the presence, and the spirit of life itself. And so I honor you and welcome you, whether you're joining us through Zoom or YouTube live and or at a later date on our channel and or any other methodology that you may be connecting to us here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. I honor you and I welcome you, and I know that wherever you are, both physically and trusting and affirming emotionally, that it is indeed a bright, sunshiny day, literally and metaphorically, because we all get to remember who and what we are as divine beings navigating this journey of our life. I affirm that for all of us today, that we accept and know that this power and the presence of the thing itself is doing its wonder and its glory by means of each one of us. And so welcome as we come together on this day, November 26th in the year 2023. This time as we wrap up the week of Thanksgiving in the United States of America, I say thank you for being you. I'm going to put on the screen right now our welcoming slides as we move into that facet of our service. And so we are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and our vision statement is supporting individuals finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And we do indeed welcome you as we honor each other today in having this moment of awakening. So something just happened with my screen, so let me stop that and get back to where we need to go, and we will start that over again. So I was so proud of myself, thinking technology was not going to get the betterment of me at any point today. And it hasn't, because it's a bright, sunshiny day. And so continuing with this journey, here we go, supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment, as I just found within myself, my own spiritual awakening. A big good morning and hello to each and every one of you, and welcome into this environment. It is indeed a happy day, just as we choose to know it to be a bright, sunshiny day. I was just listening to a service before we came on of a soul brother of mine, a mentor of mine, who was telling us it's important to pay attention as to what we're feeding our soul, our mind, our being, our body with, and that love is one of those components. Today I affirm for each one of us that we honor the presence of love that exists by means of each one of us, feeling both that human love as well as experiencing and expressing that agape love. That love is the self-givingness of the thing itself, spirit, letting it do its thing through each one of us. Today we come together online in our virtual space, but as we often do in person, our core beliefs are still the same and our intent and purpose is still the same. To welcome and honor all races, all ethnicities, all religions, all countries of origins, all gender identities, all sexual orientations, all abilities and disabilities, all spoken languages and all ages. Everyone is welcome in this environment. And so our affirmation together, if you choose to affirm and join with me, we welcome one and we welcome all into this beautiful space known as the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. We come together because our focus on this community is to teach primarily the science of mind. It's a compilation of all the great spiritual teachings by Dr. Ernest Holmes, and he's put that together, and it was published in a book in 1926, almost 100 years ago. We don't look at Ernest as a deity. We look at him as an example of understanding the meaning of life through the lens of the oneness of life itself, through the lens of our interconnectedness, and through the lens of believing that there's a power greater than us, and we can use it. We access that power through our mind, through our thinking, through our beliefs, our actions, our reactions, and interactions with the very power itself. We call it life. We also call it source. We call it God. We call it the thing itself. It's an impersonal power. It's also a power that is not taking on human qualities. It's just an energy field of creation. It is law and it is life. The reason that law part matters is because just like we live in a universe that's governed by physical law, that this is spiritual law. The philosophy, faith, and way of life shows that there is spiritual law, meaning that this energy, this power responds to us, once again, not personally, just doing its thing, by corresponding to us and bringing forth through us individually and collectively experiences in life that reflect our state of being, our state of mind, our state of connection, our state of having those spiritual awakenings, and allowing that to provide empowerment, really, a greater sense of knowing who we are. It's through this knowing, this alignment, and this awareness and acceptance that we have the ability to fine-tune our thinking, and in so doing, be cause to a different experience. I'm going to speak about that in my message later in the service, and it's really all about us having that moment where we can indeed create, by means of our thinking, by means of our consciousness, a new experience in life. I know that we've all had those experiences, and I know that we come together today so that we can indeed have more. One way to do that is to move into ritual. Ritual not in the sense of it having to be the same and not being aware of the words or the meaning behind it, but for the purpose of tuning into that power, that presence, that thing itself within us, and allowing it to be a guide for us, as we do in meditation, to remember, to know, and to engage in who and what we are as divine beings. This ritual is called calling in the light, lighting the flames of faith. I invite us all to look at the candle on the screen as that flickering flame continues, and to Let's know together that we perform this ceremony as we've now done thousands of times. And we see this light anew today as we move into this ritual with its intent to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths and all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we do call spirit. We do this to draw into our gathering a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that each of us, these sentient beings on this planet, possess as complete expressions of the divine. Today I would like for us to look at this candle that we saw on the screen a moment ago, and in our mind's eye light it and relight it, honoring the great spiritual practices, some of them, on our world, on our planet. And so we look at the flame for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. And I invite us all to be open to bring into our mind's eye individuals that reflect these spiritual traditions, as I call them out. As well, we light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. As well, we light this candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, of action, and of devotion. And Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. And all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. As well as all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. And all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and of peace. And for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Let's also claim this candle as the healing candle. I ask us to take a moment and think of someone who we'd like to silently put into the light of the healing flame, which may include each of ourselves, and I would like for it to include all of the hostages that are still being held and being released, as well as their family members. And that all of humanity may experience the everlasting love of the divine. I affirm for each one of us today that today is the day that we feel and know this love of the divine in a new way. That we walk the walk of life, more consciously in tune with our ability to create and promote peace. Jason's going to come on the screen and take us through the song, Lighting the Flames of Faith. And if there's a moment in there that you can sing along, he'll invite us to do so.
There's one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We light this flame with faith. We we find this light within our own souls. There is one flame, one light within.
And so it is. So Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just letting the energy of that last note sit there for a second. And the energy behind both the ritual and that song. It's got such healing qualities to it.
It does. It's a gorgeous piece.
And I know that for each of us, I'm affirming, much like for myself, as the days are unfolding, that's something I'm choosing to lean into, is feeling the energy of healing and declaring it and claiming it and consciously participating in it to the best of my ability.
Yeah, I hear you.
Cool. So what's our next song?
I'm going to do one that's also about that exact thing you just said. This is called Day by Day.
Fabulous.
Day by day, day by day. Oh, dear Lord, these things I pray. To see thee more clearly, to love thee more dearly, to follow thee more nearly, day by day. Day by day, day by day. Oh, dear Lord, these things I pray. To see thee more clearly, to love thee more dearly, to follow thee more nearly, day by day. Day by day, day by day. Oh, dear Lord, these things I pray. To see thee more clearly, to love thee more dearly, to follow thee more nearly, day by day. To see thee more clearly, to love thee more dearly, to follow thee more nearly,
Wow, trance-inducing in the most wonderful way.
Such a beautiful song. Oh my gosh.
It is such a beautiful song, and as you were singing it, I Googled it because I knew the song, I just didn't know from where. It's from the show Godspell,
As it turns out.
as it turns out. Yes, a show from the 60s, right? 60s and late 60s, early 70s, maybe. So
I,
I'm sure someone who's on here can put in the chat that would know that, who was probably up in the New York of City when that was all happening. So thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
Yeah. What a perfect lead in to my message for this morning of day by day by day. In the sense that over the last week, uh, I've been choosing to live like that, to the best of my ability, as I've invited all of us to do before and to continue to do, to stay tuned in to living that day by day by day by day, leaning into the power that exists within. And literally not just day by day, but even to the best of the ability, moment by moment, for the purpose of both spiritually awakening as well as to live in the moment, which is what we teach ourselves to do, as well as both through decision and choice, and as well as to go deeper on the journey of spiritual awakening. It's been a crazy kind of wild week for that. For me, I had emergency dental surgery earlier this week, and in those moments, it certainly required me of meditation, chant, returning, and I know we've all been there, and my great teacher, Dr. Maureen Hoyt, tells us that it's important for us on our spiritual awakening to make sure that that happens for us in life, but for it to not happen just through desperation as well as inspiration, but to try to make it a spiritual practice. A couple of Sundays ago, I spoke in person about spiritual practice, of tuning into having a spiritual practice in life that speaks to us. Music does that for me. And this week, on this journey of the experience and the cause and the healing of physically what was going on inside my mouth, I kept hearing the song "Give Peace a Chance." And I'm going to share those lyrics with us today as a platform for where I'd like to go with that for all of us, as an invitation to give a peace a chance by John Lennon and the Plastic Ono Band. And it starts like this: 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody's talking about bagism, shagism, dragism, madism, ragism, tagism, thisism, thatism, ism. All we're saying is give peace a chance. Hit it. Come on, everybody's talking about ministers, sinisters, banisters, and canisters, bishops and fishops, and rabbis and Popeyes and bye-byes. All we're saying is give peace a chance. All we're saying is give peace a chance. Let me tell you now, everybody's talking about revolution, evolution, masturbation, flagellation, regulation, integrations, meditations, United Nations, congratulations. All we're saying is give peace a chance. Give peace a chance. Everybody's talking about John and Yoko, Timmy Leary, Rosemary, Tommy Smothers, Bobby Dylan, Tommy Cooper, Derek Taylor, Norman Mailer, Allen Ginsberg, Hari Krishna. All we're saying is give peace a chance. Give peace a chance. I'm sure as the song was written and sung and performed and become a mantra and a chant for all during its era, and since then, the concept of peace is of world peace. And yes, I'd like to talk about that in some component today, but it's peace that is transcendent of that. By definition, peace means freedom from disturbance. Now, for some, that may look like inner balance, certainly what I was seeking at times this week, and I know that we all do. And for others, peace looks like global unity. No matter if you're on a personal journey for inner harmony or pursuing better relations in your community and beyond, the feeling and acceptance of peace can be soothing. From authors to spiritual leaders and influential figures, this collection of peace quotes that I've gotten for us today embodies all levels of peace as it encourages us to pause and reflect before making a mark on the world by means of our actions. Geshe Kelsang Gyatso writes, without inner peace, outer peace is impossible. Of course, we all wish for world peace, but world peace will never be achieved unless we first establish peace within our own minds. We can send so-called peacekeeping forces into areas of conflict, but peace cannot be opposed from the outside with guns. Only by creating peace within our own mind and helping others do the same can we hope to achieve peace in this world. I'm not speaking today about peace from a political perspective or even a worldly experiential perspective relative to what's going on at the level of effect in the world. I'm speaking of peace today in regards to the fine-tuning of our own mental awareness and our consciousness and understanding that it's through that lens, that realm, that way of life, that we can then experience peace, be a cause to it in life, and to reflect that state of innate nature that we all have within us. Siddhartha Gautama writes, peace comes from within. Do not seek it from without. Albert Schweitzer says, until he extends the circle of his compassion to all living things, man will not himself find peace. The Dalai Lama states world peace must develop from inner peace. There's a theme here. Peace is not just mere absence of violence. Peace is, I think, manifestation of human compassion. We know in our teaching, philosophy, faith, and way of life that for us to experience a manifestation, a demonstration, if you will, that is all a reflection of what is going on in our mind, our soul, our psyche, our being, our behavior. Wayne Dyer says you have everything you need for complete peace and total happiness right now. Let's hear that one again. It's from there. I'd like us to evolve. You have everything you need for complete peace and total happiness right now. So the question that we get to ask ourselves is peace possible? It's a big idea, without a doubt. But the answer is yes. Once again, speaking to the peace of the resolution of internal conflict as a way of being mentally, emotionally. And when I say yes, it is, I say that because in our teaching, philosophy, faith, and way of life, and as many of us have experienced in our lives, it all begins with the intention, with the ability to imagine what's possible and to hold that idea true in our mind as the law of life, this spiritual law of life, works out the mechanics of bringing it into form. Should we live in a state of doubt and fear and uncertainty and disbelief, then we can guarantee ourselves it will not become the manifestation that we all desire to have. We tune into this as an experience in life by being open to continually having spiritual awakenings, moment by moment, and of course, as the song says, day by day. Well, what is a spiritual awakening? We've all heard this many times. Let's hear it anew today. To spiritually awaken is to remember that who and what you are and have always been is the infinite, immortal sea of consciousness, one with all that exists, not as an intellectual understanding, but as a real and tangible experience and lifestyle. Lifestyle. I know that many of us have had this way of living as a lifestyle, but we let the world events and certain situations that unfold and life itself sometimes be the reason that we get off the course of spiritual practice of day by day, moment by moment, thought by thought, action by action, reaction by reaction, interaction by interaction, focusing on peace and the belief that we are one with the sea of consciousness, all that has ever been and all that exists. And by accepting that the principle of creation is not bound by what was, and it's not bound by what we believe it possibly can or can't bring into form in our life. The great old school metaphysician addresses this in the quote. His name is Thomas Trord, which I love, and I believe it speaks to this in a little bit of a tweaked way, if you will. Relying on the maxim that principle is not bound by precedent, we should not limit our expectations of the future. And if our speculations lead us to the conclusion that we've reached a point where we're not only able but also required by the law of our own being to take a more active part in our personal evolution, then heretofore this discovery will afford us a new outlook upon life and widen our horizon with fresh interest and brightening hopes. A mouthful, to say the least. And typical Thomas Trord, if you've ever studied any of his work, it's really mind-boggling and wordy and complex. But let's hear it again, knowing that the foundation is set for us to get it in a new way. Relying on the maxim that principle is not bound by precedent, we should not limit our expectations of the future. And if our speculations lead us to the conclusion that we've reached a point where we're not only able, but also required by the law of our own being, to take a more active part in our personal evolution than heretofore, this discovery will afford us a new outlook upon life and widen our horizon with fresh interest and brightening hopes. That is what I speak to today. Our taking a more active part in our own personal evolution, and through this active part there will become a discovery, give peace a chance, that then is cause, meaning peace, having peace of mind so that we can have a new outlook upon life. And in this new outlook, we'll widen our horizon, our viewpoint, with fresh interest and brightening hopes. Now, I know that we all think, okay, is he talking about that in regards to the world of effect and world effects? Yes, but that's not the focal point. The focal point is the internal fresh interest and the brightening hopes of what's possible for the I as the individual, you as the individual. It's important for us to remember that we're not alone on this journey. Not only do we have each other, but what we all share in common besides our experience and expression of our humanity is our divinity. In other words, we have the light of life that exists within and all of us. It's that spark of life itself. It's what we call spirit, as stated in our ritual calling in the light. Ernest Holmes tells us in regards to that we must have faith. Faith in what? The faith in this. He says, never forget that there's an indwelling spirit which knows. In other words, when we're seeking to have this fresh interest and these brightening hopes, to not have that be an intellectual, brain-driven desire, but through our spiritual practice and allowing the peace and calm of what's within us already, this indwelling spirit, to let it rise up and guide us as to what we desire to experience, to guide us as to what fuels our heart, our life, our mind. Holmes goes on to tell us that we must rise up, letting the thing within us rise up, which will then be cause to us rising up. He says anything that will enable us, by doing that, it's causing us to want to experience this. He goes, anything that will enable us to express greater life, greater happiness, greater power, so long as it does not harm anyone, must be the will of God for us. In other words, it's through this listening of the intuitive, of spirit, of the mind of God, the voice of God, the feelings of God that exist within each and every one of us. By listening to that and letting it guide us as to the most appropriate manner for ourselves to express it, then we allow the will of God, the energy of God, to take us on a journey. The journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Well, what's one of the most effective ways to do that? Well, one of the most effective ways to do that is through gratitude. It's said that gratitude is the gateway to peace. Why is that? It's because gratitude brings to us a peace that helps us overcome the pain of adversity and failure and lack of a sense of self. Practicing gratitude on a daily basis means we express appreciation for what we have now without qualification for what we had in the past or desire in the future. Practicing gratitude day by day, moment by moment, opens the gateway to that sense of inner calm, that knowledge, both intellectually and through our spiritual DNA, our divine cellular makeup, if you will, of peace. And it brings out this quality of the divine that we're imbued with in ways that affords us the opportunity to have a great life. This month, our theme has been, it's time for gratitude. Great, not beating our chest in the sense of we're trying to be fake, but through the concept of the energy of gratitude, of redirecting that which we know innately within us is true, of how the spiritual nature of life works and how we consciously can participate in it in a way to change our internality, which in changes our materiality, our experience of life. It's about being thankful that this exists and understanding that because everything is energy and the law of life responds to everything that's energy, what's the possibility of what can happen in life? The great Oprah Winfrey tells us that the more thankful I became, the more my bounty increased. That's because for sure what you focus on expands. When you focus on the goodness in life, you create more of it. So interesting, on Thanksgiving Day, one of the individuals that was there, who I've known for years and is always there, is an individual that it seems almost an impossibility for them to find good in anything. And that has manifested in their life in so many ways. And I invited this person to change their thinking. I'm like, how about I walk out of the room and walk back in the room? And when I walk back in the room and I say, hi, how are you? You can tell me one thing that's good in your life. It was almost an impossibility for this individual based on their repetition and behaviors and beliefs in life. That doesn't need to be you or I. It's also, we don't need to judge them, but to be able to look at that and understand that we have the possibility within us to change life by the way that we think about life. That's the way it works, right? It's the very foundation of this teaching. Marion Butcher says that gratitude has a way of changing your perspective and leaves you open to receiving the blessings that are within us each day, by day, by day, by day. I want to share a story with you that's from an article titled Selfless Gratitude. The Buddhist practice of cultivating gratitude leads to the direct experience of the interconnectedness of all of life, ultimately what we're all seeking to experience through our awareness. This individual who wrote this article states that students leaving a meditation retreat will sometimes ask me to recommend a mindfulness practice they can incorporate into their daily routine that will keep them in touch with the experiences that they've had during the retreat, much like we've had when we've come together for service on Sunday morning, to keep this as our focal point so that we stay tuned in throughout the week. They go on here, there are many such practices, but I occasionally suggest one that almost always surprises them and sometimes draws skepticism: the mindful cultivation of gratitude. I'm sharing that with us today so that this week as it unfolds, we don't close the door to gratitude when Sunday evening at 11:59 rolls around and we begin a new week and say the Thanksgiving week is over. I want us to consciously and intentionally and purposefully stay in this energy field of gratitude. The author goes on to write, gratitude is the sweetest of all the practices for living the Dharma in daily life and the most easily cultivated, requiring the least sacrifice for what is gained in return. It's a very powerful form of mindfulness practice, particularly for students who have depressive or self-defeated feelings, those who have access to wonder as an ecstatic state, and those with a reactive personality who habitually notice everything that's wrong in a situation. The Buddha taught that every human birth is precious and worthy of gratitude. In one of his well-known analogies, he said that receiving a human birth is more rare than the chance that a blind turtle floating in the ocean would stick its head through a small hoop. He would often instruct a monk to take his ground cloth into the forest, sit at the base of a tree, and begin gladdening of the heart by reflecting on the series of fortunate circumstances that had given the monk the motivation and ability to seek freedom through understanding the Dharma. Dharma, what unfolds in our life day by day by day. Practicing mindfulness of gratitude consistently leads to a direct experience of being connected to life and the realization that there's a larger context in which your personal story is unfolding. A larger context in which your personal story is unfolding. Being relieved of the endless wants and worries of your life's drama, even temporarily, is liberating. Cultivating thankfulness for being part of life blossoms into a feeling of being blessed, not in the sense of winning the lottery, but in a more refined appreciation for the interdependent nature of life. Today we're called into the belief, as C.S.L.A. tells us, that every moment is a fresh beginning. And with each and every moment lets you and I make a commitment to the best of our ability to practice mindfulness of gratitude, of being willing to see with a new set of eyes that our own personal story is unfolding, but it's doing so in this greater context of life. That we are a critical piece of the mosaic of the oneness of life doing its thing through us. And that we are consciously participating in gratitude in a way that our Dharma reflects it, our experiences of life on a day-to-day basis. I ask you, as I've asked myself in preparation for this message today in our time together, what can we, you, focus on right now for the next 7 days in regards to what's possible in our life? What's possible? What can we be grateful for in this moment? And then in this moment. It can be anything from our physical health to our well-being in this moment emotionally, to being able to share together with each other this time and energy connection. It can be the knowledge that we live in a sea of consciousness and that everything is interconnected. It can be that our minds co-create our reality. It matters not specifically what it is that we each choose, but it's important that we each make a choice. It's through that choice that we move into conscious evolution. Excuse me. And to remember that no matter where we are in life, where we are, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, relationship-wise, that we're each on the journey of finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And that we're each moving forward step by step, thought by thought, moment by moment, day by day. And we are bringing with that our consciousness. Many would say to us that our consciousness is taking us there. It matters not. It's the same thing. But what we do get to do and get to know and get to ask ourselves is, what state of mind am I participating in? And am I willing to change that? Our New Thought text for the day from the great Thich Nhat Hanh, who has moved on to the great beyond now. Thich Nhat Hanh in the great beyond, like that, huh? Is fabulous. And he gave such wonderful gifts of wisdom and instruction in life. And this one does the same. When we walk like we're rushing, we print anxiety and sorrow on the earth. We have to walk in a way that we only print peace and serenity on the earth. Be aware of the contact between our feet and the earth. Walk as if you're kissing the earth with your feet. This text came through for me this morning as I was literally walking my beloved four-legged spiritual offspring. And we had encountered her friends and my friends and her friends and my friends. And I read that and then read it and then read it again. And it was such a wonderful opportunity in life to consciously be tuned in to how I am engaging in the physical effect of the world. And what state of mind am I in? Is it the one I want to be in? Is it expressing gratitude? Is it an awareness and acceptance of my divinity? Is it an awareness and acceptance of the divinity? What's most important for all of us is to remember that it's in that moment we can choose anew. I used to not like Thomas Short, and I'm becoming more appreciative of his writings and his work and his verbose nature. There's a quote and an affirmation here by him that I'd like for us to each use if we're willing to hear it. He says, "My mind is a center of divine operations. The divine operation is always for expansion and fuller expression. And this means the production of something beyond what has gone before, something entirely new, not included in the past experience, though proceeding out of it by an orderly sequence of growth. Therefore, since the divine cannot change its inherent nature, it must operate in the same manner with me. Consequently, in my own special world, of which I am the center, it will move forward to produce new conditions, always in advance of any that have gone before." The law is not changing, but it is responding. Moment by moment, thought by thought, day by day, you and I have the opportunity to give peace a chance. Peace. It does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of those things and still be calm in our heart. In our heart. Imagine if we treated each new dawn of each new day with the same reverence and joy as we do each new year. Today, I'm inviting us to treat each new moment as we treat each new year, the dawn of a new moment, and to engage in a practice of giving peace a chance, and then giving peace a chance, and then giving peace a chance. We learned in the beginning of this month, as we moved into the month of gratitude, that it's practice, 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 and then practice that reveals the perfection of the divine that exists within each and every one of us. What we're consciously being called to do, when I say consciously, because I'm putting it into the universe, knowing that being one mind, you're receiving it that way, is to live as a mystic, to up our game in how we engage in this spiritual practice of fine-tuning our thinking, to being open to what's possible, to being receptive to peace as a reality for you and for me, to become more and more and more and more and more and more our reality reflective of our state of mind, to live mystically tuning in to the oneness of life itself. How does one live in the now? Holmes has asked. His answer is to consciously live as a mystic. The teaching of the mystics have been that there should be a conscious courting of the divine presence. There should be a conscious receptivity to it, but a balanced one. As one of the apostles said, in substance, that he would rather speak 10 words with his understanding than 10,000 with confusion. Today, let you and I make sure that we speak at least 10, not only reflecting the oneness of life itself, but by engaging and acting in and being the peace of the divine and giving it a chance, and then another chance, and then another chance. Let's give peace a chance today. Thank you. Namaste. Jason's going to come back and sing a song that's going to take us on the next piece, P-I-E-C-E, of the P-E-A-C-E journey.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we will overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in I do believe that we shall overcome someday, someday, that we shall overcome someday.
Ah, fabulous.
Thank you.
I love that song.
Me too.
I just watched the movie The Butler again the other day, and that song is reminiscent of that era. So fabulous. So fabulous. Give peace a chance. Jason, so wonderful to have you here today, as always. I'm in deep gratitude for all that you are and all that you bring and all that you share. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing more of you in the new year.
Thank you.
We may have you booked in December, I'm not sure, but
We'll find out.
Anyway, December and the new year. So yes. So see you in just a moment.
Thank you.
So thank you all for being here today. I want to say a special thank you to Travis on audio and Robert on technology. Thank you to all of you for being here today, and invite you all to remember to not only give peace a chance, but to be gentle with yourself. This is an opportunity for us to support our community financially. We'd like to ask you to give that feels good to you in your life. As our founding minister used to say, don't give till it hurts, give till it feels good. And you can find ways to do that by going to our website, csl-la.org. There's a donate tab. You can also use the app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and you can donate there, as well as you can mail a check in. Our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038. And if you have any questions, you can go to our website and find ways to communicate with me as well. We have a weekly e-newsletter that goes out during the week. So watch for that. If you're not receiving that, please sign up for it, as well as a new thought text for the day goes out each day. I'd like to invite you to the World AIDS Day service is being held this Friday night during the Shabbat service at Congregation Kol Ami, if you'd like to join in that. Our next in-person service is December 10th. That will be our holiday service, so please make plans to be there and to bring your loved ones with us. And let's just remember to hold in prayer and affirmation those in our community that are in the process of healing. I've been in contact with our beloved Wendy Waris, who is in a rehab facility now after having her surgery. She's doing well, and I'm so happy to hear that. And just to remember to be kind and to take care of yourself, and to know that just as you are, you're celebrated and appreciated for who and what you are. We're going to close a little different today. We're going to have Jason come back, and we're going to sing the peace song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and let it begin with me. I invite you to sing along with Jason wherever you may be, and it's a call and response song. You just follow the lyrics as he gives them to you, and we'll go from there. And after that, we will sign off from YouTube, and let's let the song, as we either hear it or sing along with it, be the impetus for each one of us to consciously, throughout this week, beginning right now, give peace a chance. Know that I love you and I appreciate you, and namaste.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as the power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my my joyous vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And so it is. Have a fantastic week. Thank you.